Time out, Houston. On today's show, we're gonna talk about this whole thing about the Houston Texans passing up on a quarterback at two, and a lot of people saying, it's either Bryce Young or bust. It's no quarterback at two. Just basically just pass up on C.J. Stroud, which I believe would be a horrible mistake. Because if they pass up on C.J. Stroud at two, they will be sending us, I mean us as in Texans fans in the city of Houston, into quarterback hell once again, like we was at the beginning of the Bill O'Brien era. I'd rather take that chance on C.J. Stroud at two because I believe he got um, a high floor and a high ceiling as well. Um, and I'm not. And if we don't get Bryce Young, if Bryce Young do go one, I'll say CJ go one. I want them to draft Bryce Young, even though I'm not the biggest fan of Bryce Young. I don't think his body will hold up 5 years. I think it will take a toll on him because he's not only he's short, but he's skinny. So I get a lot of people saying, hey, he's very smart and cerebral, and hey, look at him improvise in the pocket and move around in the pocket. I don't think that stuff gonna translate. Like, okay, the smart, the the high IQ can translate. The improvising in the pocket, that's not gonna work when he's in the NFL like it did when he was playing in the SEC with Alabama. But okay, I'm getting off topic. But the topic is: should the Houston Texans pass up on C.J. Stroud, basically? Because that's what I'm hearing. Is if it's not Bryce Young, it's not gonna be C.J. Stroud either. And take somebody like Will Anderson. And no, and people talking like Will Anderson is just a guaranteed all pro type of defensive player. Like he's gonna come in and he's probably gonna be a Hall of Fame type player. When we don't know that for sure, we don't know that he might be an average, you know, 5 sack a year type of defensive player. And as a Houston Texans fan, I'm really tired of seeing them drafting defensive players at the top of the draft, like Mario Williams and David Clowney. It's time to do something new at the top of the draft. So when we won't be picking at the top of the draft for a very long time, unless it's the Cleveland Brown pick next year. But yeah, and I'm gonna show you this clip of people, well, on NFL Live, Schefter talking about it. He believed the Houston Texans. Well, he don't believe. He don't know. Nobody seems to know for sure what the Houston Texans are going to do, and that's why people are really, really putting out there. Oh, we don't know what they're going to do. They could take us a quarterback, but you just don't know, and we really don't know. Either Nick Casario really got a good poker face, and he really not telling anybody what they doing, and everybody out here guessing and just trying to make.
What do you think their plans are from what you're hearing?
Well, we're trying to figure it out. But again, I think there's a lot of conflicting
See, they're
signals
trying
and
to figure it out.
information out there about what Houston is going to do too. And I think a lot of people have assumed to be a quarterback.
Now, hold on, let me rewind that. See what he said? Because I don't think he really know. He don't know, and I think they just pulling this out their ass.
Hearing.
Well, we're trying to figure it out. But again, I think that
We trying to figure it out. They not. She asked him, "What are you hearing?" Well, we trying to figure it out. Figure it out. Like what you heard. What you heard, bro? They heard nothing. Nothing. They heard nothing. But they gonna say, throw it out there. Hey, they might not draft a quarterback just so they can have something to say. That's what I believe.
there's a lot of conflicting signals and information out there about what Houston is going to do at 2. And I think a lot of people have assumed it's just going to be a quarterback. And then I'm just not convinced just yet that that's going to be the case. Now, I do think that we have Bryce Young slated to be the favorite number 1 Carolina. Houston's on the clock. And what does Houston do? And it becomes interesting if Houston decides to auction off that pick to somebody who wants to come up and trade for a quarterback at number 2, or whether Houston wants to go with a quarterback of its own, or whether Houston wants to go with one of the top defensive players. All I'm saying is I don't think it's a lock. Houston is going quarterback at 2. That's all I'm saying.
Adam, it's amazing. We keep talking about number 3, but we got 6 teams or maybe more trying to get to number 3. Why not get number 2 if the
If the Houston Texans trade their number 2 pick and not draft CJ Stroud, I will be pissed. Not pissed like, oh, I'm not gonna be a Houston Texas fan no more. Nah, I'm married to the game. Like a lot of us, we married to the game, man. Born and raised in Houston. I'm always be a Houston Texas fan unless they leave, like the Houston Oilers did. But I'm gonna be pissed. They better trade. If they trade their number 2 pick, they better not trade it for anything less than 3 first-round picks. Don't want nothing less than 3 first-round picks. I don't know. I don't care how far back you going. It starts at 3 first-round pick. If you're not gonna draft a quarterback in that spot, and then you don't draft a quarterback in that spot, then who we going into the season with? Who you playing at quarterback? Case Keenum? You want us to suffer through another season of Davis Mills not accurately throwing the ball downfield, except when it's time to win a game we should lose. The only time homeboy threw over 20 yards very accurately downfield. Thanks a lot for that, by the way. Thanks a lot for that. Now, I'm gonna get into another issue on why I have an issue with the Houston Texans passing up at 2. Or passing up a quarterback at 2. Because they pass up a quarterback at 2 and that quarterback hits. And we gotta witness CJ Stroud in the AFC or NFC, no matter. But elevate a team at that quarterback position while we over here struggling to score like we have been for the past couple of seasons with Bill O'Brien when he had Ryan Fitzpatrick, Brian Hoare, what's that boy? Brock Brock Osweiler. I can't say his name right, but Brock. And they had Ryan Mallett. Like, come on, Houston, man. Do we want to do this again? Do we really want to be in quarterback hell again? Well, you got 2 quarterbacks at the top of the draft. I'm not understanding that. I'm not understanding trying to take the 49ers route where they could have drafted, Patrick Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, or hell, even Trubisky, but they decided to trade down to the 3rd spot and take a defensive player, and that defensive player he's not an all pro, he's not a pro bowler, he's a regular average guy. Yeah, for that you might as well see what they could have. I mean, I'd rather them see what they could have did with Trubisky in a Kyle Shanahan offense. Like, quarterbacks win games. It's not defense no more. Did we just watch the Super Bowl? So this whole notion of, passing up on CJ Stroud because he's not, Trevor Lawrence or Andrew Luck or this Caleb Williams dude that's going to come out next year. That's going to be the new hot shit. Even though last year I remember people saying that CJ Stroud and Bryce Young was going to be the new hot shit. All right, we're just going to keep on kicking the can down the road. And let's talk about that too. The notion that they should pass up on a quarterback this year so they can get Caleb Williams next year or Drake May. From what I'm hearing, Drake May probably not even better than CJ Stroud or Bryce Young. And we praising Caleb Williams now, and by the end of next year, we might be gonna have people saying, "Oh well, he's not better than this quarterback coming out next year." Just like, no, we should wait another year because Caleb Williams ain't better than Joe Blow that's coming out in 2025. Like, you at the top of the draft, take a quarterback now. It's 2 of them. Like D'Amico Ryan said in the interview, it's 2 really good quarterbacks at the top of the draft. And if they both end up being bust, oh well. That's the game. That is the game. Because if they end up being bust, you'll be like the Chicago Bears with Justin Fields. Be right there picking number 1, and then you could get another quarterback. So I don't get it. I don't understand it. I hope those rumors ain't true for my sanity. I don't want to go crazy up in here, man. Every Sunday, watching Will Anderson get burnt on the play. Will Anderson barely missing a sack. Then you turn on highlights, you see Bryce Young and CJ Stroud throwing touchdown passes. I don't want to be in that position. I'd rather have those quarterbacks throwing interceptions on my team than throwing touchdowns for another team. All right, the other topic I want to get into tonight is about the Houston Rockets now. Steven Silas is gone, which we all knew was going to happen. He's just not a good head coach at all. I don't care if James Harden and Russell Westbrook would have stayed. I think they probably seen he wouldn't going to be a good head coach either. That's probably why they asked for a trade. But my main focus on the Houston Rockets is, the lottery. Seeing if, our young guys can get better next year. And do we got the right guy in place at GM? I don't think the NBA GM is as important as like NFL GMs, because once a GM get a really good player like a superstar, basically he just becomes the superstar assistant. He becomes Alfred, and that superstar becomes Batman, and he just does whatever that superstar want him to do. We've seen it with Daryl Morey and James Harden, and really feel like Daryl Morey let James Harden do whatever the hell he wanted to do with the team. That's what it was feeling like. I don't know. I'm not in the building, so I don't know for sure. But it felt, from the outside looking in, it felt like James Harden was telling Daryl Morey, how to wash his clothes, and Daryl Morey make sure he washed them just how James Harden wanted them to be washed, and hung them, fold them, put them up for him, cooked his down there. But for this coaching process, this coaching search that Rafael Stone and the owners about to go through this offseason, should we trust Rafael Stone to pick the right coach? Will he want a coach that he can, he can have a lot of influence over? Because we've been hearing things about him coming into Stephen Silas' practices and film sessions and stopping those so he can give his little 2 cents. That sounds a bit weird, but we don't know. If we hear a lot of stuff about how the coach ain't right. The coach is how great can a coach be with a whole bunch of 20, 21-year-olds, 22-year-olds anyway? So, whatever. Like, okay, the coach ain't right. Yeah, we can tell, because when they get to the games, they look like a 7th grade team going against, Duke or something, getting blowed against, scored 150 on every night. I think they'll mess anybody coach up. I want to take a look at Rafael Stone press conference he had. I think it was yesterday. And look at a few of his answers to some of these questions Houston media had asked him yesterday. It's a very good question. It's about Houston media. Let me get into it. Let me share screen. The first question is, let me get to it. I think it was like at 6. I want to talk about.
Three, that's on top of multiple young guys we had on our roster. The NBA punishes young players. We all know that. This summer has always been important to us, not only as well, for a lot of reasons. We're obviously going to have another couple picks, but we're also going to have the ability for the first time to before.
I want to hear the question.
Whatever it was, the 22. Anyway, starting 2 years ago, we knew that it was going to be challenging because we knew we were going to be very young, and young teams have historically had a very hard time in the NBA.
True.
We had enormous salary cap constraints. We had a lot of salary. We didn't have free agent room, and a lot of young players. We drafted 4 first-round picks 2 years ago. A year ago, we brought in another 3. That's on top of multiple other young guys that we had on our roster.
Yeah, 2 of those first round. And look here, I got something to say real quick on that. That first year when they drafted Jalen Green, Alper, and Şengün, they should have packaged the other 2 picks to try to move up or try to trade for some players. Because I mean, I know a lot of Rockets fans like, Christopher and Umba, but and he don't need to bring in that many young kids, man. Like you could have traded those 2 picks, should have been packaged off to bring in some type of vet that year, or package off and try to move up to one more selection just to pick up one more player. But yeah. But back to that question.
This summer has always been important to us, not only as for a lot of reasons. We're obviously going to have a couple picks, but we're also going to have the ability for the first time to really bring in veteran players and see if we can mesh the thing together. And so that's what we're going to do, and the goal is to continue the growth kind of exponentially. But to your point, that won't happen just by bringing in player X and Y to the team, no matter how good they are. We are banking on there being material internal growth. But I think you've also seen that. I think our fans feel pretty good that growth is going to come. I know I do, because if you just look at the difference of, from Jalen and Alperin of their rookie year to their second year, it is a material difference. That doesn't stop, right? They should really be improving in this year and next year. Jabari and Tari need to really improve from this year to next year. And then we also need to bring in people around them, And so, I could go down the list. KJ's in his 3rd year, and you can see his improvement.
KJ gone this offseason.
Second year to 3rd year. With guys this age, it doesn't stop just because it's, you're not a rookie, right? You need to keep improving all the way through year 20s, really, and are really hard. I am confident they're going to put in the work, and because I'm confident they're going to put in the work, I'm confident they will improve. And then it's on us to make sure that the infrastructure around them helps the whole thing pop up. That we do bring in some veteran players that really, really help them and really, really help the organization win. And that kind of the voice we brings in, he adds a new element, and hopefully we build to the whole.
When you take inventory from, you mentioned Tari, Jabari, Ty obviously crushed it in the G League. What did you like about their development this year?
Yeah, just that they all really improved. They're an eclectic group of guys. They're good guys, fun. We had enormous salary cap constraints. We had a lot of salary. We didn't have free agent room. I will move quickly on that person.
The record, obviously, for 3 straight years hasn't been where this organization needs it to be. Does the coach make that much of a difference, or is part of this hiring the right coach, the new voice you want, but also these players have to continue to develop and kind of get to that next level?
Yeah. I mean, I think we knew going into, well, we didn't know when we starting 2 years ago, starting before whatever it was, the 22 season, I think. Is that right? Anyway,
no.
Starting 2 years ago, we knew that it was going to be challenging because we knew we were going to be very young, and young teams have historically had a very hard time in the NBA. We had enormous salary cap constraints. We had a lot of salary. We didn't have free agent room, and we had a lot of young players. We drafted 4 first-round picks 2 years ago, a year ago, we brought in another 3. That's on top of multiple other young guys that we had on our roster. The NBA punishes young players. We all. This has always been important to us. Not only because we'll have another couple picks, but we're going to have the ability for the first time to really bring in veteran players and see if we can mesh the thing together. And so,
Okay, that's what I want to talk about. Him talking about this offseason and how important this offseason is for the Houston Rockets and for Rafael Stone. And very important offseason. This offseason will dictate whether or not, we see what what direction the Houston Rockets truly will be in. In 3 years, we're gonna look back at this offseason and say this when they really effed it up. This is when they really turned it around. This because in the NBA it's very hard to get out of, that rebuilding, losing all the time. Like when you at the bottom in the NBA, you stay at the bottom for a very long time. It's not like the NFL where a couple of seasons and you can be in the playoff going to the Super Bowl. In the NBA, you need the players. Uh, you need a player that's very special that can make everybody better on the court, or a player that can, what we hoping Jalen Green can become a really good scorer that can elevate the team's offense. Not about playmaking, but about just scoring and bringing a lot of attention to their defense. And I lost my train of thought. What I was saying, but this offseason, the veterans he bring in, the trades he make. Um, if we don't get the top 2 picks, that player that he get at number 3 or number 4, or if they trade that pick for another for an already proven star, you know, we gonna know by then, like, oh, is he making the right moves or not? Because it's not hard to tell. If you trade, um, like the 4th pick for Trey Young or something like that, who's apparently gonna be on the block this summer. I think a lot of people. Well, I don't know. I think a lot of people do like Trey Young, but I would be like, dude, we already got a problem with the culture. Everybody's saying you want to bring in a guy like you want to trade the 3rd pick for Trey Young. That would be a bad move on Rafael Stone, and I feel like, oh, he's panicking and don't really know how to build a team. Bringing a guy like Trey Young in who's an excellent scorer and a great playmaker, and I'm pretty sure the team will start winning. But that's not the type of winning I want to see the Rockets doing. I want to see them build a real foundation um, this summer to build a real championship contending team with championship pedigree and championship mentality with these young guys that will be left here. Because I do believe they need to trade some of them and go from there. But this summer is very important for Mr. Stone. I like this question this guy had for Rafael Stone, and I'm gonna start it.
trading those picks, trading into the future.
I'm about to ask him, do you believe you put together a good roster for Steven Silas to be competitive? We know it's a young roster. But are you? Because I feel like I do feel like he just when it came to picking Jalen Green and picking Jabari Smith, it was just, oh, this is who they say I should pick. This is what I feel like he just like. Hey, everybody's saying this guy should go at 2. So, and I remember because it was either the fans was debating either Mobley or Green, but I think he came out pretty early with it and kind of hinted at it was gonna be Green early in that process. Like I don't even think Mobley even came in to work out with the Houston Rockets. And then Jabari, he didn't really want Jabari. He wanted Bencaro, which would have been a good pick, but I think in the long run, Jabari probably be better than Bencaro. So let's see.
Future picks, trading those guys for veteran guys. That's all very much on the table for us.
Did you consider trading a pick that was even top 3 in that range, or did you say?
I mean, I would consider trading anything. Like that's my job. Like the most fundamental part of my job is to trade stuff for better stuff, right? So we would consider anything if it makes sense for where we're trying to go ultimately.
Hey, Mr. Stone, you talk a lot about roster construction, but do you believe that the roster that you put in place for Steven Silas was enough for him to have a chance to succeed? And along those same lines, what do you feel you can do better for the next coach and hope for him to get a better opportunity?
That's a damn good question. Had him stumbling for a minute. He had to get I heard homeboy a lawyer. He had to go in the suitcase with this one.
I don't know. The question, like I would say, is that, and Steven actually talked about this. Like, I know you guys all know him. He's a good guy. He's such a guy. I will speak for myself. It isn't fair that I have this job. There are millions of people who want.
Yeah, I'll say it ain't fair because he sure did come out of nowhere though. Ain't gonna lie. There's like 1 minute there more he say he about to go chill with his family, and then the next minute, oh well, we got Rafael Stone. He gonna be the new GM. I'm like, damn, did we even do a GM search? I don't even remember.
I have it. I got lucky. I got it. The circumstances under which I received it, there's some really good circumstances. There's some challenging circumstances. That's just reality. And that's the reality of our profession. Anybody.
Now, I get what he's saying there because he got this job thinking it was James Harden and Westbrook. And then, that's some Westbrook asked for a trade. Then during the season, James Harden asked for a trade. Is that like life ain't fair? I think like he's saying right now, and with Steven Silas, is it fair that Steven Silas got the youngest roster in the league? No, but I mean, it's nothing you really do about it. You got a coach who's out there, and Steven Silas really did a horrible job at coaching. So I get what he was saying there. If y'all want to listen to the rest of it, JT Gatlin got the whole thing up. I'm gonna go to the next question though. I get what he's saying.
But there are really interesting people out there that have been very successful, and we'll talk to them too.
Just that leaves out the compete to get part of it.
I mean, until you decide he's your guy, why would you compete? So, like, I don't know. I don't know who I don't know. I was not afraid to compete, but it's not a situation where we're aimed at one guy and we're in a bidding war or something. This is but I do think that there are really qualified candidates out there that we're really looking for.
Some owners around the league are a little bit more impatient than others. Tillman hasn't been that. What does it mean for you to have the support, ownership to continue to lead the next direction?
Tillman and the Fertitta family they've been amazing. They've been so supportive, and Tillman is very anxious to win, and it is very painful for all of us going through this process. I don't want to hide that, but that actually highlights even more how awesome it's been to have his support, and to have somebody who feels the pain on a kind of a daily basis and still understands the importance of taking all the steps to do it the right way, and no, he's been everything I possibly could hope for in a role, legitimately.
Over the last few months, the culture of the organization has come under fire, whether it's from the players and media. How do you respond to some of that? And can you change the perception? Is it only just
The culture is under fire. Like the Rockets was getting dragged all season about things going on in the locker room, about Rafael Stone, controlling things, and the John Wall interview. Austin Rivers said what JJ Redick said. Well, all the best reporters in the NBA. You got agents saying, it's a I forgot clown show or something like that. So that's a problem. I don't think he answered the question um in a way that he feel like it needs to get better. I feel like he was like, "Oh, our culture is great." If some people might have their opinions, and some reporters might be reporting, some players might be thinking a certain way about our culture, but our culture is great this year, and like I let's listen to what he said because
Trying to think of a PG way of saying this. Some of the stuff out like first of all,
he was really pissed off. He been hearing the noise, and he know people coming for him. And like I said, Steven Silas is gone. That new coach gonna have a leash, a longer leash than Rafael Stone, and everybody gonna be coming for Rafael Stone anytime there's a problem, especially with KPJ, because I feel like that's his favorite student. But they really rubbed him the wrong way. The way he had to say, "I'm gonna keep it PG."
there have been a couple of things. It hasn't been a lot. Secondly, a couple of the people are just out of their mind, and so
Who out of their mind? I wish you could say somebody's name. Put a name on it. Put your name on it, bro. Put a name on it.
So what I would say on players is players are entitled to their thoughts, and it's fine. And we've had a ton of people come through here over the last 3 years, and the vast majority of them have had experiences. And I think if you're around, you talk to the guys in this locker room. We have a really good culture. We have not managed to turn that culture into wins at this point in time. But
I do believe there are some good guys in that locker room. I think Jalen Green a good guy. I think he's trying to he's trying to figure out how to be a good leader. And everybody love LP in that locker room. Jason Tate KPJ. I think they all relatively good guys, and that's why I think that's what he think a coach is. Like it's just a whole bunch of good guys and they're doing good things. But some coaches, you need that dog. And like I said, how he gonna bring in people and how he's gonna build a championship competitive championship contending team. You can have a whole bunch of good guys. Oh, ain't nothing going on in this locker room. Everybody good guys. We all rooting for each other. But I think culture is a little bit more than just a whole bunch of good guys in the locker room. Is hey, when somebody's not doing what they're supposed to do, they get held accountable. I think that's a very important part of culture. Doing things the right way every day is a part of culture. And things like that. So, like I said, I don't think he answered this question correctly. I think overall, I think it was a cool press conference for him. But this question here, I think it got to him because I think he's thinking in the mindset of, oh, we got a whole bunch of good guys in here. Well, how dare y'all question our culture when that's not the type of culture they trying to question. They ain't a whole bunch of good guys, whole bunch of young players that's not doing things the right way, that's not really being held accountable. And really that points at, hey, they probably talking about the coach at the top, from head coach to front office coach. Maybe that's the culture everybody is calling the clown show. Maybe it's not the players because even often, Rebels like they just need some vets in there. But maybe it's not the players. Maybe it's the front office coach. Maybe it's people in the front office that's leaking all this. Hey, there's a circus over here in Toyota Center, downtown Houston. But I think that's gonna be it tonight. Timeout. Timeout family. When y'all get here. Timeout Houston. You know, should it be Bryce Young or bust? I think not. I think CJ Stroud is gonna be a really good quarterback. I think we gonna be looking like some real dummies if we pass up on CJ Stroud. And should Rockets fans trust Rafael Stone? I It's still a tough question for me because I see it. Like I said, I don't really. He don't sound like a GM. He sound like somebody who like found a found a blueprint to a building, but really don't know how. I'm looking at the paper, it's telling me what to do, but you still don't really know what you're looking at or what you're looking for. That's what I get from this guy. I feel like he don't really. He's been with the Rockets organization for a very long time, but I still feel like um when when it when it's about to be winning time now, and I feel like he don't really know, you know, the formula. Um, but we'll see, man. I guess we got no choice but to trust him because he's gonna be here. So I'm out time out Houston, and give me the HBO special, help a brother out and subscribe. And till next time.